Tonight on NewsWatch Ole Miss, after a rash of deadly accidents, the intersection of Highways 9 and 7 is under construction. We'll take you to the intersection to take a look at the changes.
The Grove will be packed this weekend, but with shortages of workers and supplies, caterers may not be able to fill their orders. We'll take a look at the challenges they face.
And country music star Travis Tritt canceled multiple concerts due to coronavirus, but not for the reasons you might think. Why he's canceling shows coming up. NewsWatch Ole Miss starts now.
Good evening and welcome to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Hannah Baker.
And I'm Leah Blevins. The Highway 9 intersection on Highway 7 has been the site of multiple deadly wrecks this month, and now crews are working to make it safer. NewsWatch reporter Rylan Hillis has the details.
Since 2014, more than 800 accidents have been reported on Highway 7 within the Oxford city limits, and there have been 16 deaths since 2015. And just 2 weeks ago, 3 people died in 2 separate accidents on the highway.
It's just a very busy road and it needed improvements to help the flow of traffic.
On Thursday, Oxford Mayor Robin Tannehill and many other board members signed a joint request letter addressed to the Mississippi Department of Transportation to make changes to the highway, such as turning it into a 4-lane and improving Highway 7 and 9 intersection.
Talk of improving and doing things to Highway 7 for a long time now, for many years, and but they're finally getting to it.
Senator Nicole Boyd, who also signed the letter, is working on securing fundings for the future improvements.
Right now, what we are is in the process of trying to see what we can do to secure more funds to get that highway 4-laned.
Residents who live off of Highway 7 are looking forward to these improvements.
I think it'll be good for the city of Oxford. It'll help reduce accidents and all that kind of stuff.
And as you can see here, they are already making improvements to Highway 7 by building a roundabout here at the 7-9 split. And hopefully there are more to come. This is Rylan Hillis, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
With that intersection under construction, the city is moving their sights to the Highway 7 intersection at University Avenue. But city officials and the Department of Transportation are currently at odds over the funding for any construction.
Tragedy struck on the roads of South Mississippi yesterday morning when a school bus collided with a pickup truck on the way to school. The Jones County Sheriff's Department reported a West Jones High School senior who was driving the truck died in the crash. The accident happened on U.S. Highway 84. None of the 11 students on the school bus were injured.
After 5 months without visitors, the Mississippi Department of Corrections will allow visitations again starting November 1st. The MDOC stopped visitation back in July because of a spike in COVID-19 cases in the state. Commissioner Burl Cain says that the drop in COVID cases makes it appropriate for inmates to see their families. Visitors will be required to social distance, wear masks, have their temperatures checked, and answer a series of COVID-19 screening questions. Inmates will also be wearing masks and have their temperature checked.
In more COVID news, Lafayette County has not reported a new case of the virus all week. As of yesterday, there are 422 new COVID cases in the state of Mississippi. Lafayette County has 0 new cases. Unfortunately, 9 new deaths were reported, raising the total number of deaths in the state to 9,977.
The extensive lack of building supplies in Oxford is affecting hardware stores, real estate agents, and causing new home builders to slow down their move-in dates. NewsWatch reporter Annabelle Kinney has more on this.
If you're looking to build a house in Oxford, expect delay. Oxford is experiencing unprecedented building supply shortage, causing lumber prices to skyrocket and complicating things for the housing market. Smith's Building Supply, a local store serving Oxford for more than 50 years, is having a difficult time with this shortage, with some necessary materials being backed up for more than 20 weeks.
We're having problems getting molding, different finger joint prime, a lot of finishing materials to finish houses are all on allocation. We just having a hard time dealing with that.
Having lack of building supplies is making people move in months after their scheduled date. The 2 most common building supplies that are lacking are windows and lumber. The delay in supplies is also affecting real estate agents, putting buyers in bad predicament for their homes.
So it has definitely put some hardship on the real estate market and the buyers in general. Also with the contractors, the builders, it has been difficult because then they have to listen to buyers who are complaining and upset with them when it's not their fault.
Due to factory closures, logistical issues, and lack of labor force, it's likely that the shortage and the associated rise in cost will not go away anytime soon.
For NewsWatch Ole Miss, I'm Annabelle Kinney.
The shortage of building supplies is the result of growing demand for bigger homes and new construction amid the pandemic.
But it's not just building supplies. Catering companies are struggling from supply shortages that are keeping them from filling orders. NewsWatch reporter Chloe Baker has more on the catering struggles heading into LSU weekend.
A lack of truck drivers has led to a national supply shortage that is affecting businesses everywhere. Local bakery R&R Cookies has felt these negative impacts since the beginning of the pandemic. Store owner Jessica Franks says she had to change her menu as a result.
For example, gluten-free flour is one of those that I've not been able to get. And so there are definitely specific cookies that we just cannot make right now.
In addition to supply issues, demand for these goods has increased as well, mostly because of the return of tailgating in the Grove, making it difficult for Franks to fulfill her orders.
That's the reason we booked so quickly, because we didn't have football last year and people have ordered way in advance to make sure that they get cookies for tailgating.
Catering businesses have been booking up quickly, making some tailgaters opt out of choosing local spots for their tailgate food.
Have to book out like weeks or months in advance just to get an order, and so most of the time we've just resulted to getting food in our hometown and transporting it to Oxford. It's just convenient for us and it's easier for us in the long run.
If you have an upcoming tailgate or event you would like catered, consider ordering far in advance. R&R Cookies asks that customers place orders at least 2 weeks in advance, but the earlier, the better. Chloe Baker, NewsWatch, Ole Miss.
So if you're planning on ordering any catering for your tailgate this weekend, call it in as soon as you can.
At the root of all these supply shortages is the same worker shortage that has threatened businesses from the first day of the pandemic. While employment is up, plenty of businesses here in Oxford are still struggling to get properly staffed. NewsWatch reporter Caroline Helms has a deeper look at the issue.
Staff shortages have been an ongoing problem since the beginning of the pandemic, and with restaurants being slammed due to the football season crowd, restaurant staff are stressed now more than ever. Manager at Ole Miss, Jose Garcia, says it's difficult to manage an understaffed kitchen on a busy game day weekend.
We're already a little short-staffed, and then on top of that, a lot of our employees are college students, so they do want to go to the games.
Garcia is prepared to step into any position he can when his staff are stretched thin.
Pretty much try to just help everybody.
Like Garcia, Ole Miss shift leader and head bartender Parker Trewick says they lost many employees during the height of the pandemic, and it has been difficult to hire back the staff, especially in the kitchen.
Say our kitchen staff had to leave because of COVID and everything, so we had to bring in a whole new kitchen staff about 5 months ago, so that was pretty hard.
Trewick is confident his staff can handle the rush, but it can still be a struggle.
Our employees are pretty good with picking up slack and shifts for other people that can't cover it.
Employee shortages are affecting many restaurants in Oxford. In fact, Ole Miss was one of the only ones we could talk to due to the shortage. Managers here told us that many restaurants, including them, are struggling to keep staff during the busy football season. For NewsWatch Ole Miss, Caroline Helms.
If you're looking for a job, now is the time. Just take a trip around Oxford and call all the businesses with now hiring signs.
Seniors, take note. Tomorrow is the last day to have your picture taken for the Ole Miss yearbook. You have to schedule an appointment, so log into your university email and you should have an email from the 2022 yearbook with a link to schedule your appointment. Once you click that link, just select your date and time and fill in your information to schedule your picture.
The university's first LGBTQ+ literary magazine, Missy, is celebrating its release tonight. Greg Parker, the creator of Missy, wanted to create a place for LGBTQ+ students on campus to be published. In collaboration with writing and rhetoric instructor Tyler Gillespie and associate editors Grace Marion and Michael Martella, this project came to life. The launch party for the first edition is taking place tonight at 6 p.m. in Lamar Hall's LGBTQ+ lounge. The event will feature live music, an open mic, and readings from magazine contributors.
Coming up after the break, new developments in the search for Brian Laundrie. But first, here's a look at your current conditions.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantori here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Learn to cough and sneeze with your pal, Grover. Step 1. Realize you're about to sneeze. Step 2. Move your elbow toward your nose and mouth. Step 3. Gesundheit. 1, 2, 3. Remember to cough and sneeze into your arm or It's so sad. It's not. Here, put that on.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? I'm high. Oh. No, you can't.
The search for Brian Laundrie may be over. Yesterday, the FBI reported human remains and personal belongings that they believe to be Laundrie's, but without official identification, there are still plenty of questions. CNN's Daryl Forges has the details.
Throughout the day today, we've seen law enforcement come in and out of the scene here in Northport, Florida at the Carlton Reserve, which is a massive reserve here in Florida. Now, at this point, they're continuing their investigation, but the big question still remains. Do those remains belong to Brian Laundrie? And according to the family attorney of Brian Laundrie, they believe it's highly likely. 37 days after Brian Laundrie was reportedly last seen, human remains were found in a Florida park.
Probability is strong that it is Brian's remains.
A source close to the investigation says it may take some time to officially identify the remains based on their condition.
These items were found in an area that up until recently have been underwater.
The grim discovery made on the day Laundrie's parents were assisting in the search for their son. According to the family's attorney, Laundrie's father also stumbled upon some of his son's personal items.
At some point, Chris locates what's called a dry bag. The dry bag is a white bag, is laying in the woods, I'll say 20 feet or so off the trail. At that time, law enforcement officers showed him a picture on the phone of a backpack that law enforcement had located also nearby.
Brian Laundrie is considered a person of interest in the death of his fiancée, Gabby Petito. Laundrie refused to talk to law enforcement when Petito's parents reported her missing. Then days later, he also disappeared. His parents gave investigators tips on where Brian liked to hike and camp in the extensive Carlton Reserve, but have otherwise been silent on the advice of their attorney.
Now's not the right time to talk about, the situation with Gabby. Right now, we're going to wait for the forensic results to come in, and, we may revisit this in the future.
Now, the FBI says that their forensics team will be out here on the scene for several days to continue their investigation. In Northport, Florida, I'm Daryl Forges.
Breaking news on that case. Just moments ago, officials confirmed that the remains are in fact the remains of Brian Laundrie. The investigation into his death is ongoing.
New studies show that the rates of gun violence were 30% higher in the U.S. during the pandemic than the previous year. The study was published today in the journal Scientific Reports. The national gun violence rates were examined over a 13-month pandemic period compared to the previous year. Researchers found that 28 states had significantly higher risk of gun violence. Alaska was found to have significantly lower risk during the pandemic. The conductors of the study say multiple factors may have influenced the increase in the risk of gun violence. The factors included also increased psychological stress from COVID-19 or an increase in firearm purchases.
A group of parents in Illinois have filed a lawsuit against nearly 150 school districts and public officials challenging mask and quarantine policies. This summer, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker issued an order requiring masks for everyone in schools, regardless of vaccination status. Parents argued that Illinois schools do not have the authority to mandate masks or quarantine without parental consent and an order from a local health department. Those listed as defendants on the lawsuit are Pritzker, the superintendent of the state's Board of Education, and the director of the state's health department.
On Wednesday, the FDA announced they will now be authorizing booster doses of Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccines. The agency also okayed a mix-and-match approach, saying any of the 3 authorized vaccines could be used as a booster. Those at least 18 years old who are at high risk of severe COVID-19 or have frequent exposure to the virus are eligible, as well as people 65 and up. The FDA also added that the booster doses may be administered at least 2 months after full vaccination. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is set to meet today to decide whether to recommend the FDA authorization.
There's TROUBLE for some Travis Tritt fans as the country singer cancels concerts due to venues having pandemic safety measures. Tritt canceled 4 performances, including one at Pearl River Resort in Philadelphia, Mississippi. These venues required concert goers to either wear masks, test negative for COVID-19, or have proof of vaccination. In August, Tritt called COVID-19 restrictions discriminating to concert goers.
Elsewhere in the SEC, a trip to the hospital with alcohol poisoning for a University of Missouri student may be the last straw for the Greek system. Now all fraternity activities on campus are suspended.
That particular fraternity has been suspended not just by the university but also by its national organization.
In addition to Fiji being penalized, other fraternity activity is also halted.
Will you ask who's tagging this?
All of the activities of fraternities for the time being so that a thorough review can be done to look at the methods that are in place that ensure student safety at these events.
Basie said there have been multiple reports of misconduct and concerning behavior in the past, which is why the executive decision was made.
It certainly was not based on this one incident, but this one incident was certainly a catalyst for making the decision.
The university's Greek life system, like many others across the country, has come under scrutiny in recent years under allegations of hazing and other bad behavior. An MU fraternity was sued in 2017 by the family of a freshman student alleging hazing and forced alcohol drinking that led to poisoning. Another fraternity was investigated for members using racial slurs in 2016. Basie said the university and Interfraternity Council will review the current regulations
to see what is happening, what's being complied with, what isn't, and if any changes need to be made.
While Missouri fraternity activities are currently halted, sporting activities continue to roll as the Rebel soccer team is set to take on the Missouri Tigers in Columbia tonight at 6 p.m. And find out just how much the Ole Miss community made Kermit pay up next in sports.
Hi. Can I get the now bar, please?
No problem. $1.
Have a good one.
Got it.
Hi, can I get a now bar, please?
$1.
Thanks.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Hey, let me get a now bar.
Sure. $1.
Appreciate you.
You got it.
How's it going? Can I get a now bar?
Hey, stop right there! Get down on the ground! Out of your spot, right? Get down! Show me your hand! Get down on the ground!
Times during class and I tell her to talk to him. And it's like, oh, ew.
It's time to make an informed decision about COVID-19 vaccines. The dangerous new Delta variant is more than twice as contagious as the original virus and can affect anyone. Right now, 9 out of 10 hospitalizations and deaths from COVID are among unvaccinated people. Getting vaccinated might save your life, and there's now an option that's fully approved by the FDA. Learn more at getvaccineanswers.org.
Welcome to Sports Watch. After a gutsy win on Sunday that sent Vanderbilt packing, the 13th ranked Ole Miss soccer team is seeking their 5th straight win. The Rebs take on Missouri tonight for the first time since 2018. They are looking for their first victory over the Tigers since 2003, as well as the Rebels' first road win in Columbia since 2002. Ole Miss's league record is currently 6-1-0, making this season tied for the best start to conference play in program history. I can definitely see some goals coming from Haley Stackpool tonight, since she is a force to be reckoned with on offense. And I'm predicting a shutout for Ashley Orcus. Kickoff is set for 6 p.m. at Audrey J. Walton Stadium. And Ole Miss volleyball is also headed to Missouri to take on the Tigers in a weekend set, after falling in 5 to their in-state rival Mississippi State on Sunday at home. Riley Fisher racked up 20 digs on defense for a career high, while Aubrey Saltmeyer had a season-high 7 blocks. On the outside, Anna Bear has been on fire on the court, racking up double-digit kills once again. She has been on a roll in her last 10 matches. In search of a different result this weekend, the Rebels are hoping career-high nights also equal to an Ole Miss win. Both Friday and Saturday's matches are set for 6:30 p.m. Here's something you might not be used to hearing. Both Oxford and Lafayette High School women's volleyball teams are headed to their own state championship. This will be Lafayette's first ever trip to the 5A title match. The only other time they made it to the North Half was in 2014, where they took a 5-set loss to Senatobia. The Oxford Chargers swept Madison Central on Tuesday to secure their place in the competition and will play for their first 6A state title since 2016 this weekend, as well as their 3rd gold ball in school history. Everyone who participated in the Make Kermit Pay event hosted by Ole Miss head coach Kermit Davis did exactly what was asked of them. They made him pay. $10,157 to be exact. Ole Miss men's hoops, along with the Oxford community, came together on the court to raise money for the American Cancer Society on Tuesday evening. The Coaches vs. Cancer event had 757 people in attendance, making 140 free throws and 16 half-court shots. This year's fundraiser surpassed the 2019 event, event, which raised $10,043, bringing the two-year total to $2,200. On the green, the Ole Miss women's golf team battled their way to a third-place match play finish at the Stevens Cup. The Rebs came out with a 3-2 win over Arkansas on Wednesday. Andrea Legnell and Sharia Tumberlini both won their individual matches, and clutch ties from Julia Johnson and McKinley Cunningham are what secured the 3-2 Ole Miss victory over the Razorbacks. Ole Miss women's golf will be back in action October 25th through the 27th in Athens, Georgia for the East Lake Cup. That's all I've got for sports. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at rebel_watch for the latest sports updates.
Thanks, Emily. And you don't want to miss an undeniably positive and inspiring story out of Wyoming.
That's right. A 94-year-old woman is spreading kindness across her community and across the nation. Find out just how next on NewsWatch Ole Miss.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. If you could see you through my eyes instead of your ego, I believe you'd be surprised to see that you've been blind. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
They gave me Vicodin after my knee surgery. They kept prescribing it, so I kept taking it. I didn't know it would be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
We are rebels. For more than 160 years, we've been accomplishing the impossible, from conducting the world's first lung transplant to helping prove Einstein was right. From preserving the past to saving the future. We are Mississippi's flagship university, a place where passion and learning unite, where friends become family, where small-town charm meets world-class innovation. We are the University of Mississippi. We are Ole Miss.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. Ready! That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu. And especially this year, no one has time to get sick. Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
"94-year-old Selma Schneider has been proudly giving out free hug coupons to spread kindness. Schneider has not only made an impact locally in Wyoming, but all around the country.
She started handing out coupons on airplanes, at treatment centers, and even the grocery store to brighten others' days. Schneider says sharing with the world is a great way to remind one another that life is short, and there's so much to be thankful for.
Schneider is still going strong with the hug coupons and doesn't appear likely to slow down anytime soon.
You know, what a sweet way to show some love to the community.
Absolutely. I wish Miss Schneider would take a trip down to Mississippi. Let's get her in Oxford. That's all for tonight. For NewsWatch Ole Miss, I'm Leah Blevins.
And I'm Hannah Baker. Be sure to follow us on social media to stay up to date.
Thank you and good night.